Well, hi once again, everybody. Welcome into another awesome edition of the New Vegas Sand Trap on Facebook Live. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. Again, we are broadcasting live, of course, from the awesome Rigel Studios right here in Las Vegas. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from the world famous Las Vegas Strip. In fact, I'm thinking, why don't we do a show from the world famous Las Vegas Strip? That'd be kind of cool. Maybe we're going to do that one day. Anyway, the show is being brought to you, as you know, by the awesome people over at Allergy Care Center. They have a phenomenal treatment if you suffer from seasonal allergies, any kind of allergies. They get you to start brushing your teeth a couple of times a day, and your allergies are gone. You'll learn about it in their commercial spots. It's fantastic. Also being brought to you by the great people over at Swing U, the most awesome golf app in the market today. You can get a tips feed. They've got a swing library for you. They've got one-on-one lessons and GPS, so much more stuff. So check them out at Swing U so you can start training like a champion today. We've got another awesome show for you. We got two great guests. We got one in studio, one's coming on at the bottom of the hour. You're going to enjoy them both. So let me introduce you to our in-studio guest, a good friend of mine. He's a great guy. He's a good player. He's got a wealth of knowledge about the game. Let me introduce to you Monty Montgomery, who's the general manager of the famed Shadow Creek Golf Course in North Las Vegas. Monty, thanks for coming in.
Dennis, thanks for having me.
I mentioned you're the general manager. Why don't you tell everybody a brief history about your golfing background, how you got to Shadow Creek and that type of thing? Because you've been out there for a long time already.
Probably 28 years.
Wow.
Well, I've had a lot of good people in this town take care of me over the years. And came here at UNLV on the golf team in 90 through 92.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Dwayne Knight, the coach there.
Still here.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great coach. Brought me in, and 3 years there, and I'd say my first semester at school, all of a sudden I get introduced to Shadow Creek.
That's pretty nice.
Played 9 holes with Steve Wynn one day. All of a sudden I meet guys like Bobby Baldwin, Bill Macbeth, and here I am.
And here you are, all the movers and shakers in town.
Yeah.
That's really good. If I'm not mistaken, I think, if memory serves me correctly, I think the creek opened up at what, 90?
Around 89, 90.
Around 89,
Right
90.
when the Mirage was being built.
Yeah, and Tom Fazio Design, who did just an absolutely awesome design. And I could just tell you, if you ever get a chance to play Shadow Creek, it is a treat because it's consistently, I think from day one, Monty, been in the top 50 in the country, voted every year.
Yeah, we're still, I think, number 26. It moves around a little bit, but 26 in the country.
That's really good. And it's interesting because I think at the time that Steve Wynn was building the golf course, it was considered then, I think, one of the most expensive golf courses to build around that time.
I believe it was the most expensive. I think it was around $52 million price tag.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Even today, especially in today's market.
Yeah.
But Shadow Creek has had a great history, if you will, with hosting events. You've had a ton of presidents out there. You've had royalty from different countries out there. You've had legislative people out there. You've had celebrity. Michael Jordan had his thing out there for a number of years. Who is the baseball? It slips my mind right now. Who was
Jeter's event is out there now.
Derek Jeter is his event out there is the celebrity. Who are some of the people that you've had a chance to play with, or that have come out there to play?
Well, I've played with a lot of people. I've played with Michael Jordan before. I've played with Hall of Famers, just guys that love golf. Hung out with presidents. Many times I've had my picture. I've got their pictures on my wall. Of course, I'm not really a celebrity kind of guy. I think I got to stay away from that.
Yeah.
Just because I'm around it all the time. But I've pretty much who's been through Shadow Creek, and it's not really that. It's just when they come out there, they enjoy themselves. They're kind of away from their normal life.
Right.
And so we get to see kind of their inner person, and everybody that we've met out there has been great. Rarely made anybody that's you could say is, well,
Yeah.
let's get him out of here.
Yeah, let's get him out of here. Let me ask you this though, Monty. Do you have a picture of me on your wall? Because
Sorry,
there.
sorry, Dennis. I just you need to get a little more famous. I guess.
We're working on it. What makes every hole at Shadow Creek is like a signature hole? And I bet you get asked this a lot. What would you say is the one hole that you would consider a signature hole for Shadow Creek? Because they're all beautiful, they're all magnificent.
Yeah, what makes Shadow Creek more unique than most other golf courses in the country now is it's 350 acres. You just don't get that many acres on a golf course, especially in a city, especially in Las Vegas. The land's super valuable. But I would say my favorite hole is probably 15. Number 9 or 15 are the best. It goes right, when you tee off, you're looking right at Sheep Mountain.
Right.
And you have a stream that runs, meanders all the way down the left side.
Yeah.
Also, and then it just kind of sits up in towards that Sheep Mountain there, and it's kind of a surreal look. It really is. But
Yeah.
it's not Vegas. When you're at Shadow Creek, you swear you're in North
Carolinas or
Carolina
something, yeah.
Colorado, somewhere. That's what makes the golf course so special.
Yeah, because you can't see any of the strip or anything. All these
Yeah.
beautiful, magnificent trees are all around the
Yeah.
golf course, and you really
Yeah.
forget that you're in the desert, number one, and let alone being in Las Vegas
Yeah.
and stuff. It's just absolutely awesome. You had something that happened very recently. I was out there for, as were a lot of other media people, created a lot of buzz, and of course we're talking about the match with Tiger and Phil. How'd that come about?
Well, I remember back in, I believe it was May, June, and we got a call from Turner, and they said, hey, we want to do a match out of Shadow Creek. And of course, MGM was involved, and we want to do it in June. And I'm like, well, June's a little soon, so why don't we move it to our best time of the year, and you guys figure it out, which gets away from football and every other
Right.
sporting event. And the best time of the year is November in Las Vegas by far. The
Yeah.
wind's not blowing. It gets cooler. It's beautiful. The trees are changing colors.
Yeah.
So Turner and MGM put it together, and of course we had a pretty special event for Shadow Creek in November.
Right.
Yeah,
It was great.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun putting it together. I have never done anything like that, with media people or anything to set up an event. So it was a learning experience for me, but everything went great. We had a lot of great people that we worked with, and it was very smooth. A lot different than I thought it was going to be at the start, but everything turned out great.
You got a lot of nice accolades for both Phil and Tiger at the golf course, and I don't know how many people that are viewing right now happen to see the match. They had a few problems with the pay-per-view, but it was available on a couple of other streaming outlets and stuff, and it was a lot of celebrities out there, though, on Friday when they played the actual match.
Oh, yeah, Phil and Tiger, greatest golfers in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger's by far, besides Jack Nicklaus, which is different times, but there's nobody like Tiger, and he's just amazing golfer. Didn't really look like it in the match. They didn't play real well, but everything else for Shadow Creek, I think we turned over. It looked great on TV from what I've seen.
The golf course looked awesome.
Our superintendent, Greg Niendorf, did a remarkable job getting that prepared, and his team. And, the golf course was a little bit, it wasn't really, I thought it was set up pretty simple, but from what I hear from Tiger and Phil, they thought it was set up a little bit more on the difficult side.
Really? That's interesting.
In my opinion, I thought it was set up pretty easy.
Yeah.
But the greens were fast. I mean, we actually had to slow the greens down. The PGA Tour slowed them down for us. We had them at about a 14, 13.
Wow.
And they didn't let us roll them for the last 2 days, but they were super quick.
They were quick, yeah. That's probably because neither of them put it very well, so they might have found it a little bit difficult. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that time of year for Tiger and Phil, they're taking it easy.
Yeah.
Golfers, they gotta. It's a long season like baseball players. You got to have some time off, and of course, I'm going to say it. They're older like me. I played with Phil in college, so 48 years old. you're not a young man anymore, and
Yeah.
you're, traveling every week. You need some time off, especially he's got a family. So
Yeah.
I don't think we saw their best golf like you'll see in probably May, June or time
Yeah.
frame.
Yeah.
So
What do you think of the change that the tour is instituting? And I think it's a good one because they finally figured out that competing with the NFL isn't doing them all that much good. So they're kind of compressing the season, moving some of the bigger tournaments, earlier. What do you think about that? You think it's going to help or hinder the season overall?
no, listen, yeah, a change is good. Most of the time, the PGA Tour, they were struggling with getting their good players in earlier. I think this is a way to do it.
Yeah.
And change that up a little bit, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it's risk. It's kind of a trial and error.
Yeah.
We'll see the first year, and if it works out, they'll keep doing it. If it doesn't, they'll probably
change it.
find another plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If you don't,
Yeah.
don't try it, you really don't know. So I give them credit for that. It's going to be an interesting move with the change of, like I say, some of the bigger tournaments, and what I think is good about it, that it opens up or gives them the leeway, Monty, to be able to select more golf courses because of the time of year that they could, change these events.
Oh, certainly.
Where, we can't do this in the north because we know it's going to be cold and
Yeah.
frigid. But now that it's earlier, maybe, they have more of a choice.
No,
And
most
I think that's a
definitely.
good benefit.
Yeah, they've looked at everything.
Yeah.
And that's why they're changing.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, and listen, the PGA Tour, people are falling in love with golf. It's a game that you can play your whole life, and I think Tiger Woods has changed that. But now you got the young generation in there, and I think golf's on the up as far as PGA Tour for sure.
Yeah, a lot of new fans with the
Yeah.
younger players, like you say, like Justin Thomas and
Yeah.
Jordan Spieth and Jason Day and those kind of.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a dominant guy. You got to sneak in there and a guy will win 3-4 tournaments. But I going forward with the way these young kids are now with the technology, I can't see a dominant player in golf.
Do you think it's bad? I was going to ask you about that. That's good timing. You were reading my mind. Do you think golf is better to have a dominant player like when Tiger was in his heyday?
Seems like it's always worked, Jack and
Yeah.
Tiger, and you can't ever say it. Just like records, they're meant to be broken. But there's a lot of talent out there right now, and when these kids are growing up now, they're starting at 5 years old. They've got TrackMans, they've got technology, they've got coaches, they've got head guys, and it's became a business even when you're young now. And
Yeah.
when I was growing up, you were growing up, it's play 4 sports, have a good time, whatever you
Exactly.
like, and if you're good, you keep going. That's not the way it is anymore.
It's not the way they
Yeah.
eat, sleep, and
Yeah.
breathe it. You
Most
know what I mean? And you've got to do it to keep up with the competition today. These guys
For
are
sure.
so good. It's just
For sure.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to step away, take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a little bit more with our in-studio guest, Monty Montgomery from Shadow Creek Golf Club, and Monty's got a son who's a very, very good player. I want him to tell you about, along with some other things. So stay with us. We're going to be back with you right after this. Look, if you play golf, chances are you've made a fairly sizable investment buying your golf clubs. So why take a chance on having your clubs damaged or even broken on the way to your next round of golf? Here's the perfect solution, known as the Golf Cradle. Using the Golf Cradle elevates the open end of your golf bag and suspends it off the floor of your truck or SUV and locks it in place. The Golf Cradle prevents the chance of damaging your club as a result of sudden stops, potholes, or swerving. Its weighted base and rigid bottom ensure the Golf Cradle stays put. Simply place your golf bag on the Golf Cradle and the protection arms automatically close down to secure your bag. Then simply tighten the straps and lock it in place. Simple as making a tap-in birdie putt. They have an awesome device like the Golf Cradle for under $40 to protect hundreds and maybe thousands of golf equipment is a no-brainer. Check them out and order at golfcradle.com. Don't wait, your clubs will love you for it. golfcradle.com. Oh, did I mention what a great gift this would be for the golfer in your life? golfcradle.com.
Did you know that over half our population suffers from allergies? There's a new, incredible way to treat allergies that don't involve shots, sprays, pills, or drops. All you do is brush your teeth. This new revolutionary treatment for allergies is only offered by Allergy Care Centers. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. You simply go to their office and speak to one of their doctors about any allergy history you may have. Then a simple finger stick is done with a few drops of blood placed on your patient card. It is then sent out to their laboratory where it's analyzed. This state-of-the-art test analyzes for 180 potential allergens. After consultation, a prescription is sent to their pharmacy where a specialized serum is mixed with toothpaste and you simply start to brush your allergies away. It's amazing. So stop suffering with your allergies. This is great for patients of all ages, especially kids. Call Allergy Centers at 702-331-5230.
All right, we are back. Welcome back, everybody, to this continuing edition of the New Vegas Sand Trap right here on Facebook Live. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, having a great chat with Monty Montgomery, who's the general manager out at the awesome Shadow Creek Golf Course out in North Las Vegas. There used to be some folks that lived on Shadow Creek. What's the status of that right now?
We still have, there's still 2 houses out there.
Okay.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. Steve left, and then Mark Shore used to live out there as well. That was part of Steve's team, and so they've sold those, and we still have the 2 houses out there, and they're
Nice.
still have. I won't say their names, but I just don't want to get that
Yeah,
involved.
no, I don't expect you
But
to,
we
but
do
what a
have
great
to.
place to live.
Yeah, it's pretty nice little spot.
Yeah.
You've got your own golf course, you've got your own lakes and trees.
Yeah, it's
and,
pretty nice.
Yeah. And
It's pretty nice. Don't
Yeah,
get a
for
whole
sure.
lot of traffic, and it's really good. Speaking about that, I've had people ask me, when Steve originally built the golf course, he had in mind that this was going to be a very special place, obviously. He was going to entertain his high rollers. He was going to entertain dignitaries and stuff, and people go, well, why did they open it up to the public, Dennis? What do you say to that?
Well, it's always, yeah. I mean, listen, Shadow Creek's a special place. Management knows that, MGM knows that, and to keep the place exclusive and mystique, you got to follow those same practices that Steve did. You might not, completely go down his path, but
Right.
we stay pretty close to it over the years. It's, you have to stay at the MGM to be able to play. Weekends are still comp only. You have to be a gambler
Right.
to be able to play. And then Monday through Thursday, you can pay the green fee, which is, as I might as well say, it's going to $600 starting January 1st. So we're still trying to keep it to where it's very difficult to get on, and you keep your mystique and your and exclusivity of it, and people hear about it and want to play it. And just like with the match, it's helped us a lot. But
Yeah.
you kind of keep it going down that same way. If we open it up, it just wasn't built. To tell you the truth, Dan, it just wasn't built for a big number of people. When Steve built it, our clubhouse is very small, our locker room's small, the ladies' locker room's very small. Driving range isn't real big, so the most you're going to be able to put on Shadow Creek and have many players is roughly maybe 50 to 80 a day.
Yeah.
And you can't do it all the time, or it'll just get
No,
beat
you
up,
can't.
so.
You can't. No, that's
Yeah.
perfectly understandable. Boy, going to $600, I think I kind of knew that. And so all of a sudden, the win course, when they open at the end of next year, that's going to be cheap.
Well, there's, you know how this town is. It's
I know.
competition.
Yeah,
so
it is.
I bet you they probably come out with the same price.
Yeah,
So,
probably so. Probably so. I would, in fact, I was in touch with the CEO of Wynn Resorts and asked him to come on the show to be a co-host. He said he'd love to, but he wants to wait till the golf course is almost ready. Which is understandable. So it's going to be very interesting. I mentioned about your son, who's an awesome young man. He's a professional trying to make his way into the world of professional golf. Tell us a little bit about
Taylor Montgomery.
Taylor.
He graduated with, of course, he went to UNLV just like I did, and I think it's coach's only father-son duo. But he graduated last year, turned pro.
Yep.
He's done very well playing golf. It's a very difficult occupation, of course. So, but you got to follow your dreams, and he's got huge potential. He hits it miles, and he putts like Ben Crenshaw. So we should have.
Wow.
He should have the talent. If he,
Wow,
if he
wow,
starts getting
wow.
it to where he hits it just a little straighter, because
Wow.
he hits it so far, he'll do well. He missed second stage this year, which I really thought he was going to get through because he was having such a great year. But as long as you keep money in that account, you can keep chasing your
you can
dream.
keep chasing it. That's
So,
that's exactly
yeah.
right. Well, let me ask you this: who's been his instructor his entire career?
I'm his father, so it's not me.
Yeah, it's not you.
Yeah, it started out that way.
It started out that way. Yeah.
But he's got a really good guy out of Dallas now named John Sinclair, I guess. And Tiger Woods has him as his top 5 teachers in the country. So
Wow.
he met
Didn't
him
know
through
that.
one of our friends here in town. He introduced him, and it's been a great addition for Taylor. And also, just like I was talking about with the TrackMan,
Yeah.
Taylor made quite a bit of money his first year turning pro, and he said, "Dad, I'm going to buy a TrackMan." I said, "Hey, this is what you need to do. You know, you gotta keep up with the Joneses when it
That's
comes
right.
to golf." So he bought this
right.
TrackMan, and it's really helped his game. So we'll see going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
No matter what, he's a great kid.
Yeah,
He's,
I was just going to say he's a great young man.
Yeah.
He's very personable. He gets along with everybody.
Yeah.
He's got a nice personality.
Yeah, unlike
and,
me. Unlike me, Dennis.
Right,
He's like-
exactly. Exactly. What's the best part of your job? What do you get the biggest kick out of going to Shadow Creek? What a great place to work every day, obviously, to call that your office. But what's the biggest thrill you get out of running that place?
For me, it's meeting new people every day. At most golf courses, you got your members, you got your people that come back over.
Yeah.
They play every day. You meet them, and and then you start. That's the only reason I've been at Shadow Creek so long is you meet new people every day, and I think that's keeps me going, keeps me fresh, and. That's why I love the job. Unfortunately, you get a walk through. There's sometimes, I get a little stale when I walk through or drive through every morning. I'm like, oh, it is. But you wake up sooner or later and you go, what a sweet place this is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is. Shadow Creek's remarkable.
Yeah.
As far as a golf course, you just don't see a whole lot of golf courses like this.
Yeah, like I said, every hole is like a signature
Yeah.
hole. It's Fazio just did with Steve Wynn's vision did just a fabulous job. How does, Monty, for our viewers that don't know, but how do golf courses get ranked? You said currently the Creek sits at number 26. What do you got to do to get it up to 20, for instance?
Well, a lot of these high ranking golf courses have a lot of events. So, like Pebble Beach, of course, is beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to beat a golf course like it has an ocean.
Exactly.
So, anytime a golf course like that has an ocean where it sits, it's beautiful. It's still my favorite. And but they've had U.S. Opens.
Yeah.
They've had big tournaments there. They've got traditions. So, a lot of that, and of course, it's high-end clubs. They're all going to be ranked up there depending on who's a member.
Right. Well, that's true.
But you got Augusta, you've got all the high-end ones. The reason they stay there is it's the people that are there as well. But it's got to also be a great golf course.
Shadow Creek is not only beautiful, but it's a great test of golf. I mean, you could tip it out at over 7,500 yards. I mean, that's longer than some of the weekend trips I've taken. Would this, in your opinion, make a tournament course?
Oh, mostly you could have a tournament out at Shadow, for sure. And we've talked about it over the last few years, and you never know. Here in the next 5 years, you might see something there. The PGA Tour just came out and loved the place, so
Yeah.
it gets a little tricky in a few spots. Number 8, we call that the tunnel hole. You got to come in on a tunnel. You've been there, and you got to leave through a tunnel. So it's viewing wise, that's a pretty difficult hole to get
Yeah.
5 to 10,000 people
Well, that's
on.
true.
So,
That's
so
true,
there are
but-
some tough spots to navigate. But as far as what the PGA Tour said when they came out, they said, "Man, we'd love to have an event here." That's all a management decision, though. So
True.
yeah, it comes down to that.
That's true. Because you said that the clubhouse is beautiful, but it's quaint.
Yeah.
Would that be a deterrent though? Because you can't get a lot of people through
No,
there for
no,
food and beverage and that type of thing.
No, because the clubhouse is just a clubhouse.
Yeah.
They have you saw the hospitality area
Yeah.
they put out there. It was beautiful, huge, and there's always ways around comforting the guests that come out, and you can have them on. I mean, you can put them on 3, 4, or 5 holes
Yeah.
out there and
Yeah.
entertain everybody the way you're supposed to. We got plenty of parking. That's what PGA Tour said. We've got plenty of room
You've
there.
got plenty
'Cause
of room.
we have another 80 acres that sits down below the golf course. But I think it just comes down to, the tour looking at it and saying, hey, we'd love to have a course here. And then it obviously comes from our management as well, getting with them and coming up with a deal. But that's maybe in the next 5 years.
Who
You
knows?
never know.
Do you
Yeah.
think it'd be good enough for a major? One of the
Well,
majors?
if one of these days, you could have a major out there for sure. You could make Shadow Creek as hard as you wanted. You can make
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
golf courses, but it has a
Yeah.
length now. That's back in 2008, we decided to, add about an extra 700 yards
It's
to
a
the
test.
course. Yeah, and I mean it's
a
it's
test.
all you want. You can grow the rough up,
Oh,
make the
yeah.
greens fast.
You could make it real
Yeah,
tough.
and the tour players love it out there. We see tour players all the time. Ryan
Yeah.
Moore comes out all the time.
Yeah.
Piercy, and then MGM has 25 guys now that they
Right.
sponsor. So we see
Right.
them out all the time, and this is where they go if they're not at TPC or somewhere else in town. They
Exactly.
come out and
No, it's
And
great.
relax, yeah.
And speaking about hitting it, I'm in the process. We're going to get Cameron Champ on the show
Sure.
sometime after the first of the year
Yeah.
when he's home and he's not playing. And I had a chance to chat with him fairly extensively and watch him play a little bit when he played out at TPC Summerlin
Yeah.
in the Shriners. And you talk about a young man that could hit it.
he's a listen.
It's
Golf
like-
just went that way. It's a bummer. I mean, my son hits it a mile.
Yeah,
He hits it
it's-
a mile. They played together in college. It's a different game. I mean,
Totally.
I can still hit it. I probably hit it out there 310, which I'm old now, and I don't hit it as
Wow.
far. But these guys are flying me 30 yards. I mean, the ball is just
incredible.
going. Yeah,
It's incredible.
It's a different game.
Just
The
incredible.
ball's so hard and everything else. All they do is wind up and hit it as hard as they can. And
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you're right, it's just a different game.
yeah, if you can wedge it and putt it, you're going to make a lot of
You're
money.
going to make a
out
lot
there.
of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to make
For
a lot
sure.
of money. All right, we're going to step away, take another break, and we're going to leave you with our weekly swing tip, brought to you by Swing U, brought to you by Gary Gilchrist, who is their director of instruction. And then we come back, we're going to have our second guest for you that you're really, really going to enjoy, because this fella has a lot of golf knowledge. He's got a great job. So we're going to tell you about it, and of course have more with Monty Montgomery. So stay with us. We're going to be back with you just in a couple minutes.
Most of the lessons I give, and especially with tour pros, they really struggle to load into their right side. A lot of them strain their right leg, causing their weight to shift into their left side. So when they come through, they start backing out. So I created this motion drill to really give them the feeling of loading into their right side, feeling the weight there, and then unwinding through impact. So you take your dress position, you step, turn, swing through. It feels like Henrik Stenson when he shifts into his right side and then unwinds and hits those bullets of irons where you see week in and week out. So work on this drill, take that step, feel your body coiling, you can feel your right knee stays bent, and now you can feel your body unwind through impact. You're gonna enjoy this drill. Go home and practice these drills and send us your progress so we can give you a development plan that will help your game for the rest of your life.
Since its opening in 2008, Coyote Springs Golf Club has earned the reputation as one of the most memorable golf experiences you can have. And why not? This Jack Nicklaus signature course offers 18 signature holes, along with some of the best playing conditions found anywhere. With its wide rolling fairways, deep bunkers, and large green complexes, it truly makes this course a challenge for every level of player. Trust me. Coyote Springs has been rated in the top 100 greatest public golf courses and ranked as one of the top places to play every year since its opening. An incredible practice area, short game area for pitching, chipping, and bunker practice area will help get you on your way to a great round. Located 50 miles from the heart of the Las Vegas Strip, Coyote Springs offers the ultimate in desert golf and a beautiful rural setting. Combine that with a fully stocked pro shop, full-service restaurant, it all adds up to a great golf experience. Seeing is believing. Call Coyote Springs at 877-742-8455 to book your tee time. So if you want to play and experience one of Nicklaus's best designs, call Coyote Springs at 877-742-8455 or check them out online at coyotesprings.com.
What's up, everyone? I'm Ryan Rustan.
And I'm Josh Kelly, and we're on the course with Swing U, the top-rated GPS, scorecard, and game improvement app.
That's right, guys. Get distances to greens, hazards, live wind speed and elevation adjustments, even shot tracking and club recommendations. You can track your scores, stats, and handicaps for free.
Check out our massive library of lessons and drills from top 25 teachers, or get one-on-one training from your personal Swing U golf coach.
So join over 4 million golfers
And download the free Swing U app today.
If you're like me and play golf, let's face it, you want to get better, right? Getting better at golf means taking lessons, and these days you have a whole lot to choose from when it comes to instruction. Or do you? It seems everyone and their brother teaches golf. That's why you need to know who and why you're investing your time and money with. If you really want to improve as a player, the choice is simple. PGA Tour instructor Mike Malaska, long recognized as one of the top instructors in the country, is helping players on every level, every day. The online learning center is offered by MalaskaGolf.com. Mike's common sense approach to learning will help you overcome the issues you face on the course every time you play. Simply put, in order to play better golf, you need to understand it. Named National PGA Teacher of the Year, Top 100 Teacher of the Year for over 20 years running, Worldwide Director of the Nicklaus Golf Academies, well, you get the picture. Mike is awesome. If you're serious about improving your game, get started now. Check out MalaskaGolf.com and see for yourself what this program will do for you and your game. MalaskaGolf.com. All right, we are back, everybody, for the second half. We're on the back nine, I guess, of the New Vegas Sand Trap here on Facebook Live. I'm Dennis Silvers, along with Monty Montgomery, the general manager of the great Shadow Creek Golf Course out in North Las Vegas. Right now, let me introduce a very good friend who's a real asset to Golf Digest, Ryan Harrington, Deputy Editor for GolfDigest.com, also serves as the Managing Editor for Golf World. He's been working for Golf Digest, I think, way back since 1995, since he was a kid. He's covered college players, he's covered amateur players, eventually he started covering all of the majors in golf as well. He's been honored by the Golf Writers of America for his writing as well. Graduated at the University of Michigan, earning a BA in both communications and political science. And like I say, he knows a lot about a lot of things. So right now, let's welcome Ryan onto the show. Ryan, thanks for taking time out and coming on the show with us.
It's my pleasure. How you guys doing?
Doing great, doing great. How are things in Connecticut where you live, and how's the weather there?
We got hit with a lot of rain today, which is fine because as long as it's not snow this early in the season, I'm okay with it. But it turned winter today, and it's going to be winter here, and our golf season's a little shorter than yours out there, but we're having a good time right now.
That's good. That is the important thing. Ryan, I want to start off and ask, and I know Money's got some questions for you as well, but I want to start off and ask you, you've been with Golf Digest now about 25 years or so. As I said, when you were a little kid, you started. How has coverage of golf events, print-wise, changed over the years since you've been involved with Golf Digest?
Well, it's changed a lot. Print-wise, right now, it's not. You don't have the real coverage of tournaments like you once did. You don't have. We used to have golf print. Now we're an online 24/7 news organization where we post stuff immediately, and there is no lag like there once was. So, from a coverage standpoint, our focus now is on the internet and trying to get things to our readers as quickly as possible. Traditional game stories that you might have read in Golf World magazine or even in Golf Digest at one point, those, you don't find them in print magazines anymore. What we do in the print magazines now is try to give context and depth, and that's what That's what Golf Digest has done for forever. They can really give you great information, feature stories, instruction, obviously, and whatnot. But now coverage of tournaments, it's online and it's immediate and it's quick hit, and it's as possible.
I've asked you this before in your previous appearances on my other shows. There's been some criticism, in all honesty, about, and you have great content in your magazine. You have great staff writers, various professionals, but the criticism has been, Ryan, well, I could pick up this golf publication or that golf publication and learn how to cure my slice 3 different ways in the same publication. Is that any concern for you guys? Is that cause, because you get some criticism for readers, they get confused.
Well, there are different ways, different people with instruction tips. There are visual learners. There are guys that learn, able to learn right from reading off the sheet or whatnot. There's guys that need to see video and whatnot. And so I think having different ways to try to teach the instruction of different approaches inside Zine is helpful from the standpoint of it helps the diversity of readers. You're right. I get what you're saying. Some of the criticism about how there might be, differences of information and different approaches or whatnot. But I think to a certain extent, it allows readers to try to pick and choose what is best for them. And, for Golf Digest moving forward, we have this thing called Golf Digest All Access, where we're doing a huge video series and whatnot. And I think, quite honestly, that's going to be the wave of the future in terms of instruction, because that's going to really give people a chance to dive deep into very specific elements of their games and be able to try to figure out what they need to do to improve their games.
Who are some of the well-known people that you've got in this series, Ryan? Because I think it's a great idea.
All Golf Digest's top instructors, David Ledbetter, Butch Harmon, Cameron McCormick. We've got a great session of Cameron McCormick working with Jordan Spieth on the range. What do they do when they go through their practice sessions? How do they approach the time they have on the range? Do they maximize that time? We just did a series like that with John Rahm. We've done something with Cameron Champ. So, we've got, the best instructors in the game right now helping us out with this project, and the All Access, it's a subscription-based model, but it's almost like a Netflix for instruction. We've got, more than 60, 70 different kinds of lesson plans and programs for people to be able to tap into and use, on any other online devices. And like I said, I think down the road, this is really the way you're going to see a lot of really good instruction be conveyed to our readers.
Is this subscription-based, Ryan? People have to pay for this?
Yeah. You go to Golf Digest and go to Golf Digest All Access, and you can buy it for a monthly subscription, or you can buy for a full year. And that gives you access to the entire platform. But it's something that we've really worked on this past year. Golf Digest is known for a lot of different things, but I think instruction is its real hallmark. And this is the signature part of what we're doing down the road to expand beyond just print magazines and beyond the website into this platform.
I agree with you. I'm glad you mentioned Cameron Champ. I was just talking to Monty during the break that I've been in touch with his people, so to speak, and we're making arrangements to get him on the show when he's home after the first of the year. And I had a nice conversation with him out at the Shriners event that he was playing in, and he's a great kid. He's a great kid. Anyway, Ryan Harrington is with us, who's the deputy editor of GolfDigest.com, is hanging with us here on the New Vegas Sand Trap. Ryan, what's your opinion about, what's your feeling about the new compressed season that the Tour is instituting to get done basically before the NFL finishes them off?
You know, I like it from a very much from a fan's perspective. I think it's going to make for a very interesting season. I think you've got, you know, you're not going to have a lot of fluff, if you will, that's for sure. You've got right from the start of the year some pretty big tournaments. You'll start with the Players' Championship in March, the Masters in April, the PGA Championship now in May, the U.S. Open in June. You're going to have a big tentpole event every month from March through the end of the playoffs. I think from a player's standpoint, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they do from their schedule standpoint because there's so many big events and there's so many high-profile things. Players are going to be playing are going to need to figure out when they're going to take their breaks. They're going to really need to examine in their schedules, when do I take time off so I can maximize how I'm feeling, how I'm playing going into those bigger events. And I think this year is going to be an interesting experiment because I don't know if I don't think until they do it, the players are really going to understand for themselves what they've kind of gotten into, so to speak. So I think this year might be, you might see by the end of the year some guys that are really just kind of burned out, quite frankly, because they've played a lot of tournaments in a short, condensed period. But that's what's going to be the most interesting thing for me to see is how do the players handle playing so many big events in such a short period of time.
Good point. Good point. Monty?
Right. We're in Las Vegas. Who do you see?
I'm jealous.
Who are the studs you see this year? Who are we going to put, all the Vegas guys, who are we going to put our money on the tour this year? Who's going to have a great year?
Well, what's great for golf right now, everyone said to me, before Tiger came back last year, oh, is it in golf in bad shape? And I said, no, there's so many young, dynamic players out there. And, I thought the game was in really good shape. You're never going to have a guy like Tiger Woods who's going to carry everything like they did, but you've got a lot of guys who you can bet on. And I think, this last year we saw a couple of them actually not playing all that well. Jordan Spieth had a rough year. Rory McIlroy had a rough year. I think those guys are going to bounce back this year. I think particularly Rory McIlroy from the standpoint of, I think he's kind of rededicated himself. I think he knows that he probably, spread himself too thin in terms of where he was going and where he was playing. He's talked a lot about trying to focus on playing in the United States, and I think that's going to be good for his game. He's got so much pressure going into the Masters. That's the only tricky part of it, but I like him. I think Brooks Koepka's the real deal. We saw him this past year, and I don't see any reason not to think that he's going to win more and probably obviously win regular PGA Tour events, not just major championships. I like Brooks. I like the motivation he's got. Everyone talks about the chip on his shoulder. I think that's a real motivation for him, and I think that it serves him well. And then, you mentioned a guy like Cameron Champ. I think there's some other really young players who are just kind of breaking out, and he's the big one that everybody's watching. But, there's a dynamic on the tour right now, and I think we're going to see it more actually, again, because of what we talked about with the condensed schedule. You're going to have to be pretty athletic. It actually plays more towards the young player right now. A guy like Phil Mickelson, who's going to have to play in all these events in this condensed schedule, it doesn't work in their favor. So I'd look for the young guys. I'd look for Dustin Johnson. He's a little bit older than some of the other ones. They're good. I think, those kind of players are who really you should be betting on.
Yeah, I agree. And like you say, Monty, we've got some great talent right here. With Ryan Moore, Charlie Hoffman gets it done every year quietly. Scott Piercy. We've got a couple of great gals here that play on the LPGA Tour. And speaking of the LPGA Tour, let me ask you this before we go to our break, and of course you'll stay with us. Do you foresee the dominance of the LPGA Tour having a chance to change, Ryan, from the Asian or European players? Do you think the American gals are ever going to dominate on this tour again? Because I don't think it's going to happen.
It's a great question. For me, the question, quite honestly, is motivation to a certain extent. you've got a lot of really good young players, young American players out there, Jessica Korda, Nelly Korda, Danielle Kang, who, on any given week can win, but can they sustain it over the course of a whole season and really play well? The one that's doing it right now for the American side is Lexi Thompson.
Right.
And similarly, she's got not necessarily a question of motivation, but a question of trying to avoid burnout, quite frankly. I think, she played maybe a little bit too much, has been too much of a focus on golf and needed to take a couple steps away. So there's a lot of talented players that can do it, but I just am not 100% sure that on a full season basis, whether they're really going to be able to dominate. So I think Lexi Thompson will be in the mix on a week-to-week basis, and all these players. But no, I think you're right. Right now, at least, when you look at the talent on the tour, I think it's more towards the Asian players, and I think you're going to see them continue to dominate for the short period of time.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Monty?
Yeah, you can definitely see that. It's going to take some time before that changes.
Yeah.
But eventually, the ladies' tour is going to be a bombers' tour as well.
Yeah.
Whoever hits it the farthest is
Yeah,
going to dominate.
it's starting to get that way. That's a great observation. All right, I'll tell you what, we're going to step away, take another short break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with our special guest, Ryan Harrington. And of course, we've got Monty Montgomery in studio, so stay with us. We'll be back with you all right after this. If you're like me and play golf, let's face it, you want to get better, right? Getting better at golf means taking lessons, and these days you have a whole lot to choose from when it comes to instruction. Or do you? It seems everyone and their brother teaches golf. That's why you need to know who and why you're investing your time and money with. If you really want to improve as a player, the choice is simple. PGA Tour instructor Mike Malaska, long recognized as one of the top instructors in the country, is helping players on every level, every day. The online learning center is offered by MalaskaGolf.com. Mike's common sense approach to learning will help you overcome the issues you face on the course every time you play. Simply put, in order to play better golf, you need to understand it. Named National PGA Teacher of the Year, Top 100 Teacher of the Year for over 20 years running, Worldwide Director of the Nicklaus Golf Academies, well, you get the picture. Mike is awesome. If you're serious about improving your game, get started now. Check out MalaskaGolf.com and see for yourself what this program will do for you and your game. MalaskaGolf.com. If you play golf, chances are you've made a fairly sizable investment buying your golf clubs. So why take a chance on having your clubs damaged or even broken on the way to your next round of golf? Here's the perfect solution, known as the Golf Cradle. Using the Golf Cradle elevates the open end of your golf bag and suspends it off the floor of your truck or SUV and locks it in place. The Golf Cradle prevents the chance of damaging your club as a result of sudden stops, potholes, or swerving. Its weighted base and rigid bottom ensure the Golf Cradle stays put. Simply place your golf bag on the Golf Cradle and the protection arms automatically close down to secure your bag. Then simply tighten the straps and lock it in place. Simple as making a tap-in birdie putt. They have an awesome device like the Golf Cradle for under $40 to protect hundreds and maybe thousands in golf equipment is a no-brainer. Check them out and order at golfcradle.com. Don't wait, your clubs will love you for it. golfcradle.com. Oh, did I mention what a great gift this would be for the golfer in your life? golfcradle.com. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're winding down on this edition of the New Vegas Sand Trap on Facebook Live, talking with our great guest, Ryan Harrington from GolfDigest.com. Ryan, Monty and I were just talking about the equipment today and how these guys on tour and even the women are getting longer and longer and longer. Do you think this is, and with all the golf courses closing today, as you know, and that's going to continue to happen, I think, over the next several years, but for the few ones that are being built, Do you think the designers, the architects are taking that into consideration, even for the better amateur players, for the college players, because these guys are just pounding it so far today?
Well, I think it depends on why the course is being built. If this is a course that is expected to hold championship events, then indeed you need to take into account the length of the players and the increased length of all the players these days. I mean, the distance reports that are coming out, they're showing it throughout, obviously, professional golf, but at the amateur level as well, like you said. So, I mean, if that's the intent of what you're doing in terms of building a golf course, then yeah, you have to build something that can stretch out to 74, 75, 76,000 yards if you really want to be in contention for a championship like that. If you're looking, though, for a standard course that's just going to be a daily fee facility that is going to, try to do a great job in that own community, I don't think you have to worry about being able to tip something out that long compared to, a championship course. Like I said, it's a factor now in all design, but I think, you don't have to have a course be 7,400 yards to be a great golf course either. So, if you're trying to cater to a specific subset of a marketplace, I don't think you have to worry about the length. I know it's a wishy-washy answer, but it really all depends on why they're building it and what the goal of the course is.
I agree with you. I think that's well said, Ryan. What's going on at Golf Digest, golfdigest.com? What's upcoming for 2019? Any new features, that type of thing? What are you working on?
Well, we've spent the last few weeks here trying to recap 2018 on the website. We did our traditional Newsmakers of the Year category, and surprise, surprise, Tiger Woods was the Newsmaker of the Year. But we had a great list of 25 players, events, storylines that, when you read back now and you recall them, you realize they really, touched a lot of different aspects of the game of golf, and that the year was a really interesting year beyond just Tiger Woods. With the distance debate, that was one of our topics there. The issue of backstopping, just that even little nuanced thing on the PGA Tour where players are kind of helping each other out by not marking their balls. A junior player named Akshay Bhatia, who was the number one ranked junior golfer in the world, who won all these great junior events, and I think he's got a really good shot of being on the U.S. Walker Cup team, the first high schooler perhaps ever to be on the Walker Cup team. So, the year actually was pretty much a very dynamic one beyond just Tiger Woods, and we've tried to slice and dice that on the website a lot. I think there's a lot of nice features that you can go on to golfdigest.com and just catch up on, to see if you can remember what happened all during the year, because so much did happen. I
know a lot did happen. What's your favorite kind of article to write about, Ryan, on a personal level?
I like feature stories. I like trying to, the human interest aspect of these players and whatnot. It was what I loved about covering college and amateur golf. You guys mentioned Ryan Moore. I got to cover Ryan's, incredible amateur season in 2004 when he was at UNLV and then won the U.S. Amateur and the Western Amateur and the NCAA Championship and whatnot. And it's getting to know these young guys and girls when I covered the women's game too, before they became stars. And what motivated them to play, how they got into the game. There's the cliche about these country club kids and whatnot, but there's a lot of different players out there, and they've got a lot of different stories. And so it's really interesting to me to try to find those out and to tell them. And that's what I find an exciting aspect of working at the magazine.
And you do it quite well. Last question before we let you go. What do you think about the new rules that are coming out in golf next year?
I think they're great for regular players, because I do think they simplify things a little bit more. They seem to be a little fairer in my mind, quite honestly. Some of the different things in terms of just trying to not be so legalistic and not be so gotcha almost to a certain extent, which I think the rules to a certain extent have had, that's been a bad thing. It's good to have some black and white things and things to fall back on when you're a player that you need to know. But at the same time, sometimes the punishment never fit the crime. And I think they've adjusted that a little bit with these new rules. I think they're going to be really good for the amateur player. The pros, it's going to be taking, it's going to get a little time to get used to these rules. But I think to a certain extent, they're really as much going to benefit amateur players as they are the pros. And so that's where I think, everyday players are going to save shots and are going to have a little bit more fun with them.
Totally, and I think one of the main purposes too is to speed up the game, don't you think, Monty?
Well, that's what I was going to ask Ryan. Is there any talk about bringing out the rangefinder on the tour? Is that coming? That'll save an hour.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. That would save some time. I do think when they were talking about doing something with the green reading books, that might have helped a little bit, and then they kind of backed off that a little. And so, the pace of play on the tour, we could spend another hour on that. Like you said, there are some issues there that I think are just enforcement issues, quite frankly, if the tour officials could enforce things a little bit more. But when you're playing for that kind of money, until you get pushed, you're not going to speed up play. And so there needs to be a different mechanism to help pace play there. But I think the rules of golf, the new rules, are definitely designed, specifically finding a lost ball in 3 minutes rather than 5 minutes, not having to take out the flag stick when you putt.
Good
I think
stuff.
they put in a lot of things that, little things here or there that are going to shave hopefully 15, 20 minutes off of a round and make it a lot more fun to play out there.
Yeah, totally. Ryan, I want to thank you so much for taking all this time to be on the show. I want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we're going to have you back sooner than later because we love having you on the show, my friend.
Hey, it's my pleasure, Monty. Thanks so much for having me on, and Merry Christmas to you guys too.
Thank you very much.
Take care,
Thank
Ryan.
you. All right, Ryan Harrington, everybody. Just a super guy, and like I say, he's a wealth of knowledge. Anyway, before we sign off, we've got to get to our golfers forecast. So we're going to do that right now. Look at this weather here. Look at this weather here in Las Vegas. Almost record. 65, 64, 62, sunny, and this is just before Christmas. As opposed to if you're playing in
Chicago?
No, it's not Chicago. There it is, Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh,
All right, 17 degrees. That's even a little cold for you, right?
well, that'd be a little nippy. I tell you what, I'd like to be in. We're here in the perfect
We're
spot.
here. This is absolutely perfect. Yeah. So come to Vegas, play golf. You don't have to worry about it. Stay at MGM, and come on out and play Shadow Creek.
Come on out and experience
It's awesome.
something that's phenomenal. You'll love it.
You'll love it. It's definitely on the bucket list. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the New Vegas Sand Trap. For Ryan Harrington and for Monty Montgomery, I'm Dennis Silvers, wishing you and your family a great Merry Christmas. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Until then, fairways and greens, everybody. So long. We'll see you then.